Good YouTube, this Yu-Gi-Oh vendor here, aka Quinn Wade, coming to y'all with that Spright Melffy update. The format has changed as Malice and Ryzel has come out, and other decks possibly might get hit by the ban list. Obviously, this deck won't be one of them, so that can actually help this deck because I feel like it got good matchups against the new decks. And this is what I played, and I'm gonna give you reasons why I played my certain cards. It didn't change too much, if not at all, because of how I built it. But I've been having fun with it. It's been competitive, and it's really been good so far for what I've been playing. And I think it's gonna continue. So we'll see. I am thinking about switching from Sprite to Ryzel. They got some similarities, so we'll see on that. But you should look forward to seeing that on the channel too. I still do play the double sprint. I think this format you have to because it's just so many hand traps, so you have a good chance of getting your sprite sprint negated or just in general hit by a hand trap. So you want to always have that extra one just for the grind game. See a lot of people not playing it. I just didn't understand that as a person that actually plays the deck competitively. Access code, you just still need this because there's gonna be games where you can just go in and straight up and just win it instantly. And access code does so much damage and clears so many problematic cards that I still have to play it in this deck. Dark, it's just so many people playing dark decks, and dark just is just good and it helps you just link climb. Um, Double Gigantic, just an excellent card. One of the reasons why Sprite is still good is because of this and Sprint. But like I said, you get Ash, everybody's still playing Ash, everybody's still playing Valor and Imperm and Dominus. So you want to play two just for that reason, because of the grind game. Zeus, you gotta play it. It just the ability to get a 3K body on the board that can just take control of a game, especially in the grind game, and just turn the odds of you winning is the reason why you got to play Typhon too. It was just so many duels where they had a mediocre board and they try to find a way to go somewhere. Since this deck plays a lot of hand traps, you just stop them, and then they just end their turn and you just like Typhon. Now I can just swing over one, get rid of the other, or just swing over one and keep the bounce effect later in the duel. Like I said, it's not the greatest card. It is situational, but since I won duels in those situations because of this card, I kept it in. And same for Downer. Like I said, you have that flex spot in this deck. It just makes Zeus even more better. Toad, sometimes I do feel like I want to play two, but it's just so easy to revive with Double Cross that you should only need one. But they really know that you're trying to go for this card, so that's just something to keep in the back of your mind, is that they're trying to, stop your Toad from staying on the field. Mannequin Cat and Mosquito and Melffy of the Forest, they just standard for this deck. They're just good rank twos. People ask me why I don't play Silhouette Rabbit. It's because of Melffy of the Forest. Like having a card that's on 2,000 defense that can stop you from attacking and negate monster effects. It's just a better overall card, and it's so easy to summon in this deck. And then Soul Sweeper, just banishment is still good for that reason. Is one of the reasons why I don't play IP or SP. They just take too much investment to get something that's you don't really need to do in this deck because this deck got a lot of counters already. This is a mid-range deck to where you can explode when you need to explode. You can go for game where you need to go in for game with Gigantic and Gamma Burst and Access Code Talker. And then if you need to control the board to negate your opponent with hand traps, without it, like with Toad and Herald, then you can do that too. Remember, Spike, Carrot, and Imperm is other cards that can slow down your opponent too. And Herald or Light cuts off the graveyard, which gives you a huge advantage because you mostly summon on the field. And then obviously Droplet. This is a side deck. I still play the Droplet. I kind of want to main it because like a lot of the times you only need one card to go off, and if you just go off, you still can win because this deck can create so much advantage. So I always look at it that way, but I'm still iffy on the Droplet. And then I also play the Harpy Feather Duster in the side deck. 3 Evenlies is you definitely need it. It's a powerful card now, especially because some of the decks don't negate as much unless it's hand traps. And then same with D-Barrier. Some of the popular things RSCs and Synchros in the main deck or in the extra deck that they use their main deck to summon, and D-Barrier just shuts it down. And then I still play the 2 Judgments, clearing stuff that just keeps you in advantage. Like I said, this is a mid-range type of deck, so it's a good thing to keep control of the board as much as you can. and then 3 Droll. Like, nothing new about that. Droll is one of the best hand traps of this format, and people are main decking it now, and I can't really blame them. And double blue, I'm just joking, but 3 blue searches, get your play started, get you where you need to go. It's really good. It has been good for so many years. That's why it was ultimate rare. That's a good reward. Jet just searches your spells and traps. It's essential to the deck. Get some while you need them. Like whenever you need them, you can always go blue to Jet and hopefully get the starter for you to be able to go off next turn after you fight through the hand traps possibly. And then Carrot just helps you control the board without committing too much to the board. And same with Carrot. And then obviously the Nimble Beavers. They're a good summon. Just get another body and go into a powerful Exceed. Try to find a way to capitalize off of it and go for game. And Angler, you can dump it off Sprint and other cards, and it just gives you the same advantage that Beaver gives you, which is a body to go into a powerful play. And then Swap Frog, just really good to allow you to go into totally awesome, and also allow you to dump cards to the grave like Angler and Mirror Mage for you to be able to go into powerful plays. And obviously the Mirror Mage for the totally awesome play, but you can also go into Herald. You can also go into other Exceeds too. And then obviously Melffy Penny and Melffy Caddy allows you to go into Herald very quickly. And I think that that's a powerful play in this type of format where people use the graveyard, or they always trying to find a way to set up their graveyard. Even Ryzel has cards that plays that way too, and it just stunts their plays and stunts their boards. And then Ash, you can't really say anything negative about Ash. It's just still the best hand trap in the game outside of Imperm. And I still do play Valor. They just became more shinier. Like I said, my whole deck is basically foil at this point. And then Mourner. They serve the same purpose. Ash, Valor, you can negate multiple times in a turn. And Mourner just puts your opponent in a tough situation. Like, I kind of got stopped without really seeing it coming. Do I want to get the card off the board, or do I want to lose some life points? Or it just puts you in a situation where you can just stop them for where they're trying to go. And then you can still use Ash, you can still use Valor, and obviously that just helps the Typhon play, and it also allows them to end on a board that they didn't really imagine that they'd be on. Like, to be able to play this many hand traps and still be able to go off easily is what makes Spright still special. And then obviously the Spright starter, you can't really argue with this, like being able to pay the light points and get the Spright card that you want on board and still be able to activate their effects. I still do play the Gamer Burst because you still want to go for game, and you still want to play with Droplet sometimes, so you cut their attack in half and you want to be guaranteed to be able to run over most of their cards, because most Spright cards ain't high in attack. That's why I like Mannequin Cat, because to be able to go into a rank 2 that's on 2K does make a difference, and it can allow you to go into Zeus too, because you can attack over most level 4 things that you Valor, Ash, or even Imperm, or even Mourner. And since I play all of those in the main deck, it just make it a tough deck to beat. And then I added talents. Like I said, this is a card that continues that. I can get hand knowledge. I can take control over a monster, link it off, exceed it off. Or I can even just draw 2 cards and try to put myself in a better situation. Freezing Chain just allows you to get your Mirror Mage back from the grave. I still play the Double Cross. The ability to take a monster from your opponent and equip it non-targeting removal, and the ability to bring back Toad to be able to get another strong card on the field that can also negate and control the game for you is what Spright is all about. And then obviously the 3 Imperms. You can't go wrong with Imperm. It's the best hand trap in the game. Just free negation, just stuff that you love to be able to do, so that way you can win the game and just slow down your opponent or stop them completely and make them thinking like, man, I'm in a tough situation. What is I'm going to do? And it's nothing that they really can do sometimes. But this is what I'm playing right now. Like I said, I'm thinking about switching over to Ryzel. They play similar, same type of styles. I think Spright is less bricky, but Spright also gets hurt a lot more from hand traps. That's why you kind of do have to play it this way, so that way you can use red to be able to negate hand traps and You can also try to find ways to use cards to slow your opponent down more. I think this deck is a little bit more versatile because it can slow you down with the hand traps and the extra deck cards too. Because Ryzel don't really have a lot of negate cards like this card what this deck does. Not just the hand traps, but Carrot, Red, Toad, Herald, and Melffy of the Forest, and then it can still go aggro. So I think this deck is a little bit more versatile if you play it right, and if you play your cards right, then you can put yourself in a situation to where your opponent is always trying to figure out how to get back to being in a good board situation while also not trying to race all their basically assets. But when you play against a deck like Sprite, you have to kind of play into it. And then you realize I can keep going and you can't, then I can go for game. Whether it's with Zeus, Axis, Code Talker, Typhon, or just going Gigantic, Search, Summon, Gamer Burst, attach, be on 32, be on 46, and stuff like that, and put on a powerful push. This deck is really, really good at being in the balance of a deck. Like having the balance to know what you want to do, how to slow down your opponent, how to go for game, or how to edge out your opponent because you have more resources, because you can slow them down and put them in tough situations throughout the entire game. I just think that that's one of the best parts about Sprite and why it has been a deck that stayed around and still doing good at regionals, did good at YCS Cancun, even though it was a smaller YCS. But I think that we're going to start seeing more people say it's budget, it's fun, and it actually is competitive. It might not be tier one to some people, but the ban list can change that. And the matchups against the new decks, it has good matchups against them because of the hand traps and the negates, and the fact that it can still go for games. So the same thing that made it good still makes it great. And if you know how to play it and you know how to play your cards right, and if you're patient, you can outplay your opponent and put yourself in good situations throughout every step of the game. And I haven't really seen the deck that can do that like Sprite, and that's why I still be playing it. But I'm starting to like that Ryzel, man. I like I like the art. I like the artwork, and I'm liking how you can do certain plays that this deck can do too. It just the monsters are stronger, but there's also more inconsistent, and it just doesn't have as much control over the board like this deck can do because it has a multiple of cards that you can use to do it, and that deck only got a couple. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully later.